All right. Welcome to another episode. Man, what is this part or episode 21, part 21? I didn't know what to call it anymore. Yeah, but it's a long series. Honestly, by the end of the year, I think I'm projected to do, excuse me, I'm projected to do like 140 plus Zooms. Honestly, after doing like a whole year, we'll see if we stop or we continue. Let's see where it goes. But let's see. Hopefully, you guys are able to see my screen over here. Awesome. All right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Real Estate Wholesaling Analysis. My name is Elton, like Elton John. I won't talk too much about me. I'm just ready to get started onto this. Just because again, it is Friday, and I'm just trying to make it as quickly as possible. Get on started with it. So just a little bit of background about me. My name is Elton. I've been wholesaling for the last 10 months, trying to look for my own investment properties now. And additionally, even before that, I started wholesaling. I actually started learning wholesaling back in 2020. And then from there, just picked it up along the way here and there, just retouched bases on it just because it was getting me into like real estate overall, which is my ultimate goal, get into real estate, have my own properties. And that's what I'm heading towards now. But before I even started on real estate wholesaling, my background has been just a lot of sales and also marketing as well too. And my major used to be aerospace engineering. So numbers come out come out rather easily for me. I can't say that for everybody or to speak in behalf of everybody. But it's just it does take practice just like anything when you started your first job or you started your job in the beginning. It just takes practice until you're able to get a hang on how to do things and how does everything work around. So it's literally the same thing when it comes to like analyzing properties. It's all about repetition, and that's why I created this series because it was something that I like to do for free, where I love to like teach other people, answer questions, and then show them how it needs to get done when it comes to like real estate wholesaling, real estate fix and flipping, buying, hold, creative finance. So it really depends on what strategies you're trying to analyze. But they're all really the same across the board. Some of them have little twists and twists here and there, but it's always good to educate yourself on all type of strategies just because every single property is never going to be the same outcome. And when it comes to like wholesaling, you have to get creative in some ways as well too. So it's just part of like the business. And so again, that's why it's all about repetition, to continuously practicing because not every single property's outcome is going to be is going to be the same. They're all going to be very unique across the board. So with that being said, let's get started into like analyzing some properties. I am going to be doing some live examples in terms of a fix and flip property or a buy and hold. Buy and hold can be a rental, Airbnb, whatever you want to be, but I'm going to be doing it in terms of like rental wise. It's going to be long-term rentals as well too. So when it comes to real estate wholesaling, there are major steps in real estate wholesaling from finding prospects, getting leads, calling those leads, skip tracing, finding out what the property's value is. When you're calling, you're going to be asking a lot of questions. The main one I'm going to be focusing out of the entire steps is again doing the numbers, finding out how much is going to need in repairs, and finding out how much is it that I can my best offer will be on this deal. And not only what your best offer will be, but also what the best offer from your end buyer. What kind of offer are they going to bring you as well too. And the thing that the reason I like to do live examples is because I don't like to specifically pick and niche pick one specific city, area, county, whatever you want to call it. I don't like to niche pick anything or cherry pick anything. I like to be broad so that way, because real estate wholesaling can be done nationwide, with the exception of a few states that has been made it illegal in terms of like wholesaling, depending on where you are. That's the other thing as well too. So just do your research and make sure that your state that you're able to do real estate wholesaling, it is illegal to do so, or what requirements it is that you need to do to execute a wholesale deal in your state. So the beginning part of the real estate analyzing process, which all investors, all buyers, and then this is the way you're going to be doing it. This is the way we do it on this series, is understanding a few key factors. The first one is ARV, or after repair value. So you come across a property that needs updates, any type of updates. You're basically, your goal is to find out how much is this property. If it needs, let's say, X amount of repairs, how much is the property going to be valued once it gets fully updated? And the thing with that is it's called ARV, and that is the number one thing you have to understand about a property, on how much the potential is there going to be. Again, like I was mentioning earlier, not every property is going to be the same. Sometimes whenever you're trying to analyze some properties, you are going to come across some hiccups. You are going to come across some obstacles. And even on these live series, I've come across some obstacles that I already experienced, but it's easily for me to like overcome them, just because again, it's been repetition, repetition, and repetition. But again, the very first thing that we do have to find out about a property, it is definitely the after repair value.
Please try again.
I don't know what's going on my iPad, but whatever's happening, it's happening. That's kind of scaring me a little bit. But next, after the repair value, we definitely have to find out what the repairs will be. So first thing is, how much will the property be worth once it gets fully updated? And next is find out, we also have to find out what the repairs will be. And as you guys can see, across the board, there's going to be different investors or buyers that you're going to come across. All of them are going to be doing their due diligence very differently. Investor one and two, they actually are the most common ones nationwide, but you are going to come some third, maybe a fourth, or however many end buyers you end up having on your buyers list. Again, they are going to be doing the numbers very differently. It is good to build a relationship with them as best as you can. And the way you build a relationship is asking questions. Asking questions like, hey, Mr. End buyer, how do you do your numbers? What kind of returns are you looking for? Are you looking for a 15% return, 20% return, or are you looking for a specific dollar amount? Like $50,000 on every deal, 60, 80, $100,000. Or you can even narrow down, what kind of margins are you looking to get on a property? Do you have a specific budget that you like to stick to? Also, what kind of properties are you looking for? Are you looking for single family, multifamily, two bedroom, one bedroom? Do you have specific zip codes that you like to like invest in? Or do you like to be very generalized and be like, hey, whatever it is that you get in the contract, send them my way, and I'll check it out. And if I like it, I'll give you a call. So again, everybody's going to be doing things very differently. So having a conversation with sellers, if you're reaching out to agents as well too, that's how I started. If you're again reaching out to buyers, literally the entire process is all about asking questions. The more information you have, again, that's giving you more experience, because if it comes back again in the future, you already know how to handle that situation. So that's going to be ARV, or after repair value. So just be aware on how buyers handle that. Next is understanding repairs. Repairs are going to be very, very, very broad across the nation. There are going to be some states that are going to be very expensive in terms of not materials, but actually labor. Labor is going to be the most expensive. Those states are going to be like New York, California, Washington, Texas, uh maybe Miami. So it really depends on Massachusetts. So there are a few states that the laborers are very expensive, and that's the thing with those high income states or high taxes states. Those are things that are going to be happening there, but it's just part of the entire game overall. There are some states where the expenses are not going to be as crazy, but again, it's all about understanding like your market. But when it comes to doing repairs, in my opinion, I like to stick to average numbers, hence these numbers right over here. From light repairs all the way up to average repairs to gut job repairs, they're all going to be very they're going to be they're the average numbers that you're going to be sticking over to. Because as an example, and a situational thing that has happened, and it really happens with every property, is if I bring a property that I think it needs average repairs, and then I bring it over to my investor, and then my investor ends up telling me that no, this doesn't need $40,000. This actually needs $80,000 on repairs. Then that's the materials and the labor that buyer needs are going to be more expensive comparable to somebody else. If I find another buyer and I tell the buyer how much it needs, aka $40,000, they can end up telling me that no, I can actually get away with like 25, maybe $30,000. And that's because maybe they already have a specific business or someone they constantly work deals with, or a contractor that they bring business over to them, that they can bring their expenses down. So you got to come across different situations, again, depending on what each end buyer likes to do. Those are things that you should be questioning beforehand, so that way you can understand them, understand where they're coming from. So that way you don't get blindsided in terms of repairs, and you have to negotiate your numbers way below, if you happen to have like the property under contract, which if you're working with the seller and you get the property under contract and you're trying to find a buyer, the buyer is going to force you to renegotiate because it's not going to work. But again, don't just listen to one end buyer. Don't just try to look for one end buyer. Have multiple of them, so that way you can always have a backup. Because again, just because it's one and then it's like it's a buyer doesn't mean it's always guaranteed. You got to find one who is really interested on taking your property, because again, you already did a significant amount of work, which you get the lead, you contact the lead, you spoke with the lead, you got the lead under contract, and now you're doing just the easy part of just getting rid of or doing the assignment of contract to get the end buyer to take over the property and get the deal done and close within 30 days or 45 days if needed as well too. Now with light repairs, for the light repairs, it is going to be pretty standard. Again, light repairs are going to be $10 to $20 per square foot. These are more properties that are just properties that are being rented out, or they just need minimal work, or they're already really taken care of, like the condition it's pristine, that they just need like little things to get changed, if anything at all whatsoever. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be carpet and paint. It could be just like little chips here and there, maybe some wall dents, doors. Whenever doors get open, there's like holes on the walls. So just little things are gonna get patched up, or maybe just update a few appliances, maybe update like the utilities, like the power panel, maybe just double check on the foundation, double check on the roof, double check on the HVAC, water heater. So there's gonna be like a few things, but they're not gonna be major ones. Next is gonna be like average repairs. This is what an average repair would look like on a property. So this is a property that it's, as you guys can see, it's very outdated. The floor looks good, but there's different types of floor throughout the house. We have some hardwood floor. We have some tile in the kitchen and in the bathroom as well too. So again, you want to keep it all even throughout the entire home. There's different colors schemes on the home, which this green and this white. Honestly, if we were to bring like out bright colors, it can really brighten up like the entire home. So dark colors are gonna make it very dark. Also update like the kitchen and maybe some of the lighting as well too. Bring in new appliances. And of course, like the bathroom is going to need some work. So these are going to be the average repairs that you're going to be needing into it. Next is going to be gut job repairs. Gut job repairs, oh man, these are monstrosity. These are going to be a nightmare. You're going to see a lot of them if you happen to be in Illinois, or certain properties that you're going to come across. You will eventually come across a full gut job repair. And what I mean is these horrifying pictures. It just looks like it's Friday the 13th. Freddy Krueger can come out from anywhere in this home. It's going to be ghosts, but then not only ghosts, there's going to be just maybe some mold. There's going to be some termites. There's going to be some water damages. So it's just going to be it's going to be a nightmare. And this basically looks like it needs to get demolished and everything has to be brand new. So this is an example of a gut job repair. This is going to take basically everything to be fully updated or whatsoever. and including the basement if you happen to be on states that there are basements in the property. And usually with the basement, also have to double check on the foundation because again, with the water damages happening on top, they could be also be leading over to the foundation. So foundation repairs are very expensive. Again, if you happen to be in an area where there's properties that have basements as well too. So those are the examples of all the type of repairs. But again, stick to the average numbers on the which is this right over here. So that way you're able to make the most out of your deals. Because again, if you do your numbers and you want to specifically get down to like the dollar amount, it's literally about having a contractor check out the property for you. But if you bring three contractors, they're all going to be giving you different answers across the board. So in all reality, it's all about the numbers games. But when it comes to like the end buyer, it's, hey, are you interested on this one or no? Because if you're not interested, then I would recommend for you to like waste your time and my time if you have to like bring the offer down another $60,000 because you need $60,000 more in repairs. No, if it's not gonna work for you, then by all means, it just doesn't work for you. It's simple as that. But besides going through repairs, the biggest challenge when it comes to looking for some properties, especially with ARV, finding out what the after repair value will be, is looking for similar properties that are in terms of the ARV that are fully updated. You want to find comps or comparables. You want to compare apples to apples. So you're trying to find like a home that it's a 1955's home. It needs average repairs like on the property. You gotta look for similar homes that have been in previously bad conditioning and then got basically flipped or got updated, and they could be also on the market, so they're either pending, so they're on a contract, or they're for sale at the moment. Those are properties that you want to stick to, but whenever you're looking at similar properties, you do want to stick within certain parameters, which are going to be the following. Again, we're looking at a 1,000 square foot home. You can't compare it to a 2,000 square foot home. It has to be plus or minus 300. So all the way up to like 1,300 and down to like 700 on the square footage of the living space. Um, Next is the square footage of the lot size. So this will get applied if you're comparing acres to acres. So if you have the properties in a 1 acre land or lot size, then again, you want to make sure that you find another property that has 1 acre or plus or minus 2,500 square feet of a difference. 1 acre is roughly around, what is it, 44,000 square feet. So just give you some basic numbers. Next, whenever you're looking for similar homes that again that have gotten that full update or they got fully updated, you want to make sure that you stick within a half-mile to a 1 mile radius for those comps, which we're sticking within that half-mile to 1 mile radius. There are going to be some certain issues that you're going to come across, and that certain issue is going to be roads. So some roads are going to be double yellow line roads, and what double yellow line roads are basically this is an example of a double yellow line road where there's heavy traffic in the morning, heavy traffic in the afternoon because people are getting to and from work. There's going to be buses, UPS, Amazon, construction trucks, 18-wheelers. It's just it's a constant flow of traffic. Maybe even if it's like an off-ramp, that's a heavy traffic road as well too, because there's all this traffic coming in from the freeway, from an off-ramp, and the property is like a block two away from that road. But that's if it's facing it. If it's like inland, then of course that's gonna be like the border. But basically, whenever you're looking at a property within a specific radius, you do have to kind of like figure out how the neighborhood is structured and where those heavy roads are going to be lined up from there. Because again, those double yellow line roads or heavy traffic roads are basically going to be like your border or where that neighborhood stands. Anything in the other side of that double yellow line road, even if you find a similar property, you can't really compare that apple to apple because it's that other property outside of the in the other side of the double yellow line road is double yellow line road or or main road is going to be a whole different neighborhood as well too. So again, no matter how similar the property will be, it's just think of those main roads as a borderline for that specific neighborhood, which you guys will see on how to find those when we do our live examples. Of course, again, sticking apples to apples, make sure that the years of a difference is plus or minus 10 years. You're not trying to compare a 1945 home to a 2024 home. It's just the materials and everything are, and the regulations are differently. And not only that, it's just you're not comparing apples to apples. So stick within the same years of finding those comps. And whenever you're looking for those comps, again, of properties that are fully updated and how much did they sell when they got fully updated, is you at least have to find three. Sometimes, maybe very, very slightly, you might be able to get away with just one comp, but most of the time you do need to find three similar properties on that scenario. Anything below three, it's going to be very challenging for you to get rid of your property or sell it or sell the contract assignment to an end buyer. Just because again, they got to look for similar properties, and if there's not a lot of properties that are got fully updated, now their risk just went higher, and higher risk for them is going to be lower price to make sure it matches their criteria. Because again, there is such a thing as risk tolerance when it comes to looking into a real estate as well too. Um, if you guys have any questions so far, just you can go ahead and drop it in the chat. I will leave it open for a Q&A afterwards, but let's go ahead and do a live examples. If you guys have a specific address, by all means, drop it in the chat. But if you guys that you want me to a property that you want me to analyze, go ahead, drop it in the chat. But if you don't, it's perfectly fine. Like I said, I will be doing my own examples. And part of the process that we're going to be using is I am along my process of learning and getting a hang of real estate wholesaling. Part of it was learning a lot of the numbers. And so along the way, I did create my own calculators that really work in terms of like how to see everything in terms of that property. So if you guys do want access to the calculators, it is a monthly subscription. Right now, you can get Super Bowl 24, 50% off from the calculators, but it literally expedites everything from there. There's going to be the calculators that we're going to be using right now. There's going to be the ARV calculator, which is mainly for a lot of fix and flips. There's going to be the complete rental one, which we're going to be using for, again, analyzing rental calculators, rental properties. And then there's a feature one coming called seller finance, which is a creative way of negotiating a deal. Just because, again, sometimes some wholesale offers are going to be way too low that your offers are going to get rejected. But again, that's where you have to get creative or just get a hang of like how real estate is and the different type of strategies that are out there. So that way you can excel in your business of wholesaling. Just because just bringing low offers most of the time, it's just going to be a struggle for you. All right. But let's go from here. Let me go back to the calculators. Let me go to the ARB. And looks like there is a property. Hey, what's up, Sarah? Welcome, welcome. So let's see. So you have a property, cool. Let's see what kind of property it is. Let's check it out. And let's put it in here. Thank you for putting an address. So let's check out this one that we got. So we have a property over here in Clovis, California. The property I'm not sure if this is like a for sale by owner. Okay, awesome. It's a for sale by owner. What for sale by owner means is, as the word says it, it's just the owner selling without an agent representing them. Usually with these are really great because the seller already knows their budget. The only thing they are getting are heavy calls from everybody because they listed either on Zillow or Redfin, whatever platform that they listed in. It's just everybody knows about their property, and they're the ones who are handling like all the inbound calls and all the offers from there. So they're just trying to find whoever can bring like the best offer from it. For this property, there is no pictures on it. Let me let me unmute you guys. so that we're able to mute unmute. Sarah, I'm not sure if you're able to like talk, but can you give me more information like what's happening like on the inside of the property? So that way I can determine what's going on with this. Because again, I always like to use examples of what the inside looks like. And with this, there's no inside pictures. Um,
Yeah, so it's that's the thing. It's like all fully remodeled inside
okay.
as far as like the kitchen floors, the bathrooms, like I don't think anything really needs to be done inside, but
Uh-huh.
um yeah.
Okay.
I don't have too much information yet, but
That's perfectly
from
fine. What's
yeah.
the what will be like the strategy? This will be for, I'm guessing, for a buy and hold where the property was rented out, or is the homeowner living in the property at the moment?
I don't know.
It's fine.
I yeah, it's just I've been texting with him and haven't been able to really even get him on the phone yet. So
Mhm.
it's really hard.
That's
But
okay.
yeah, this is really new, so I don't have too much information on the situation if he's living there, if it's a rental.
Okay. Is he
Yeah.
looking around that 300,000 mark or 450, 450, I mean 350? What is he looking?
350. It was 350, yeah.
I had a feeling. They, that's the thing with for sale by owners. They're gonna have a like a friend that is an agent. They're gonna tell like, oh, you should sell it for this much. I'm not sure if the seller has done any price drops as well too. Additionally with it, but let's go with the asking, which I already had a feeling was gonna be 350. And let's check out what the comps are saying for it. One of the questions when I'm reaching out to like sellers that I like to ask them is like, how'd you come up with that number? That gives it an insight. Again, they're gonna tell you, oh, I did my research, or I have a friend that helped me out, which most of the time is like a friend in terms of like real estate, either an investor or a realtor, or maybe even a mortgage lender, whoever it is, somebody's in real estate that they know like the numbers are coming from. Um, the For this one, has it been listed for sale by owner for a while,
I
or it's
think
just
only
on
like
the market?
6 days. Yeah, it hasn't
Okay.
been up there long.
Hey, that's perfectly fine. And so
Mhm.
this is for sale by owners. It's literally all about working with the seller. So very first thing to understand about sellers is finding out some certain pillars. The first pillar is make sure that they actually want to sell the property, which for this one the seller does. Next is finding their motivation. Why is it, besides getting the best price for their property, which is $350,000, what's another motivation that they want to sell? Are they trying to downsize? Are they trying to relocate? Are they trying to use the money for another investment? Are they trying to um, pay some financial debt? Are they trying to use it for emergency purposes? This gives you the two motivations. One is going to be the money for it, and also understanding like if you put the money aside, what will be like another reason for in being interested on selling the property. So those would be really great questions to like ask. And those questions are going to help you identify if the seller has either a financial interest on the property, which what you're mentioning, the seller does because the property is fully updated. It doesn't need like a lot of work. So it sounds like this seller put a lot of money into it. He's trying to sell the property without an agent, so he can't afford to pay the agent commissions. So he has to take it on his own hands and just list the property on his own and get and try to see what's the best price that somebody's willing to give him. So I already know that for sure based on the information they already collected. And if it's an emotional attachment, will be the seller has lived inside the property. Let's say the conditioning, it needs like around average repairs, then again that's going to be an emotional attachment to the property, because again the seller has lived there in a long time and it's just really hard for them to like get away, and or maybe they're just lost, that they don't know what to expect after like they sell like their home, maybe because they live by themselves or whatever it is. So that's the reason you have to find like the motivation on it, so again you can determine besides the actual price. And of course, what kind of period are they looking to like sell? Are they looking for like, I've come with some sellers that they want to close in like 2 weeks. I was like, whoa, that's really quick for us to bring like an offer in. And I mean, it's definitely doable, but at the same time, I want to make sure that everything was done properly, like on the home, check like on the permits, were there permits pulled or used for like the property? Was the square footage of the home increased from it? Just want to make sure like all the information is matching and make sure that the updates were done properly. Because again, that's usually something that you want to consider into it. This all these steps are going to be necessary. So you always have to put yourself in that position. Like, let me put myself as if I'm buying the property. What are the steps that I will do before I pull the trigger on taking over like this property? So again, you want to make sure that you do like an inspection, understand what's going on and how much the seller wants, but get a little bit further down just because again, you're trying to make you are in the business of real estate, so you also have to consider your profit as well too. So then now with that being said, the now we have to like find out what the area is telling us on the property. So this is a 1,066 square foot home. And let's see, did the seller, I'm gonna consider this as a buy and hold. So it doesn't need any fix and flipping. A buy and hold gives me like a potential offer on the calculator automatically. And if I were to pay for the seller's closing costs, again, to make it easy for them because they're already doing it without an agent, I'm just trying to negotiate like the best deal as possible that fits me. And that's by paying like the closing costs. That's going to give me more leverage on bringing that low offer from to the seller directly. So with this property, my possible offer is 280. There's no repairs like you mentioned, Sarah, that needs to be done like on the property. So I'm gonna leave it everything at zero. It's in great condition. Awesome. Now I do have to consider my profit into the investment. The Clovis, California. Actually, I don't know where this is. Where is this at? California, Fresno? Oh, awesome. Fresno. Okay, cool. So Fresno is going to be a lot of truck drivers. There's going to be a lot of people that are looking to retire, just kind of get out more like in the farm style type of homes out there. It is really close to university, so that's a really great thing to consider to Fresno University. And so this could be a buy and hold for students. So I got to look for an investor that is looking for those type of properties, especially it's crazy close. That's less than a 5-minute drive for students as well too. There's a middle school. We have a shopping center. So overall, get an understanding of like the neighborhood. It's a great area whatsoever. Now, as I was mentioning earlier, we want to make sure that we stick to a specific radius, which for this property, we do have a few major roads. We have Barstow Avenue. And the way you can confirm is when you use like the maps, like to use a street viewer or drags this little guy. And this what is going to be a high traffic road. Usually when I count 5, 6 cars, that's going to be a high traffic road. I already have 3, 4, 5, 6, and I haven't even checked behind me. 7, 8. So this is going to be a high traffic road automatically. That again, that's like my borderline. Also with here, this other road, and then this one. And what about this side over here? Yep, same thing. This could be another high traffic road that I have to like stick within like the area. So let me duplicate. Oh, I already duplicated. Let me pull in the zip code so I can head over here and look around the area for recently sold homes. So now I have to find out what the ARV will be because if I were to keep on going with the calculator, the seller's asking 350. I'll be paying the closing costs. There's no repairs for right now. Then again, part of the process is to have an inspection period done just to make sure on the permits and everything is perfectly fine. Make sure that the seller paid the construction guys as well too, because if he didn't pay the construction guys or for any repairs and those guys put a lien against the property, we want to make sure that the property is free and clear from any liens, maybe any debt as well too. And just if there's some mortgage, that's perfectly fine, but it's you want to make sure how high of a mortgage there is available as well too. And again, I'm in the business of investing. So usually when it comes to investing in buy and hold, the type of profit a investor would look for is 10%, 10 to like 12%. anyone who's fixing and flipping is going to be 15 to like 20% on the fix and flip side. So just take note on that. So this is going to be again more of a buy and hold if everything happens to be fully updated inside. So the seller is telling us this. He's listing it for 350. Closing costs are going to be 35. And then my investment profit, at least I want to make 10% of it. Then this property, the ARV for this specific property, so that way I'm buying it at pennies on the dollar, has to be around $420,000 or higher. If it's close to like 415, that's perfectly fine. Again, you want to buy it on you want to buy it on pennies on the dollar to make sure that you're getting like a deal. But again, we have to do our due diligence. Let me go back to the area. Barstow and Shaw. Barstow and Shaw. Let me remove that. So our subject property is right over here. Peach, yeah, it's right over here. So let's look for let me see what's active. So that's another thing I like to look for. I want to see what's actually active right now, like in the neighborhood, and what kind of properties we're looking. So all of these look like a lot of mobile homes. So those won't be able to be comps. And again, we're sticking within our radius. So our radius is Shaw Avenue, Villa Avenue, Barstow Avenue, and then Willow Avenue. Those are the major roads that I can't really cross because again, an appraiser, they're not going to be comparing any homes across those major traffic roads. It's just not safe whatsoever. And again, I do have like a mobile home area. So I do have one property that is on the market at the moment. The square footage for our subject property was 1,066. That's the other thing too. We have to confirm that that's the actual square footage or if extra square footage got added to the property as well too. And let's see, this one that is selling for 367. Again, it all depends on how it looks like on comparable to our subject property. It's in good conditioning. It just needs like some paint. So these are going to be like kind of those light repairs. It is like 2 feet, 2 square feet bigger than our subject property on that plus or minus 300 comparison. So this does need like quite a few updates if needed. So there's nothing on the market currently. But again, now we have to look for what actually has been selling in the area. And we want to look for properties that sold in the last 6 to 9 months whenever you're looking for a subject property for a comp. We are looking for homes. And again, let me put my square footage, which is going to be, it's 1366, but this doesn't let me put it down to like the number. And then the lowest is going to be like 750. So I do have two comps on here. We have that, we have this one. So this one sold in September. I mean, it is within the 6 month period, but if you take a look at it, great flooring so far. Painting, maybe we could have done a little bit better on like on the painting. Kitchen, a really good kitchen, updated appliances. Actually really good. What else? What else? Nice backsplash. Again, flooring, bathroom. So if this is how your subject property looks like, this is already a great potential comp to pull in. The only thing it did sell back in September, so it's kind of getting close to. I mean, I did say that it's 6 to 9 months, so it's perfectly fine. It's just the prices around September are going to be different. What's happening now, just because interest rates have been again fluctuating, and it's within our 300 per plus or minus 300. So this one did sell for $281 per square foot. So now let's go down to our ARV so that way we can start putting in what the numbers are. And again, so far it's a great neighborhood as well too. This one did sell in October. This one it's in a less updated conditioning. I don't know what happened to the upper uh, of the kitchen, but again, this is not a property that we have that is not recently updated, and again, it is in a better time frame. and that's why it sold like a little bit less, because it probably needed those extra $30,000 to $50,000 to get updated in terms of it. And is it the same year as our subject property, 1960? I didn't check on the year on this one. This is also a 1960. So again, I'm comparing apples to apples. The only thing is I have one good apple and then one bad apple. This is going to be one of the bad apples. Uh, if you don't have access to the MLS because you're not a real estate agent, again, it's always good to check different resources. Redfin is one of them. PropWire is another free resource as well too. And of course, our most popular one of them all is going to be oh, I do have it open already on yes. Our most popular one is going to be Zillow. Maybe that's where sometimes sellers just go based on what Zillow says, and they're like, oh yeah, I went on Zillow and I found out how much it's worth, so that's how much I want for it. As you guys can see, this is the property listed for sale by the owner. And great work. So this looks like that other property that we were looking at, this one right over here. So great conditioning, that's what I expected as well too. So great work, 1960, two parking garage, 319 on the square footage. I mean, 319, it's for 6 months difference when this one sold for 281. Then that's kind of pushing like a little bit, but again, rates are dropping right now, so I can get a sense of why that price is high. So actually the price is actually 340. But what I want to look for is recently sold. So again, I want to use Zillow so I can see what Zillow is going to give me in terms of properties. Let me just take away
Yeah,
all.
I'm sorry about that. It is 340. I apologize.
No, you're
I
fine.
think I
You're
told you
fine.
350. Yeah. Wait.
No, you're good. I had a feeling. I knew it was gonna be more than what it said on Redfin. I was like, it's just a habit of like just analyzing deals. It's easy, so it just takes like a lot
Yeah.
of practice. But I had a feeling it was gonna be 340, 350. So you're good. Same thing on Zillow. Only that one pops up. We do have this one that it's externally and it is a little bit bigger. So that one will really count as a comp in terms of like for sale at the moment. But let's go through recently sold and let's see what we're able to filter it down to. So we're gonna filter down to 750. And Zillow again is going to give us different numbers. So I'm going to go up to like 1500, I guess. And then let's go for recently sold in the last 6 months. And let's apply that. So we do have, this is one of them that we have of the 607 Keats. Oh, this is a different one. Same number, it's just different properties over here. Let's go on with this one. And again, right now, what I'm trying to look for, I'm looking for the price per square foot on recently updated homes. There are no pictures of it internally. Man. But let me look at the description. Beautiful, updated throughout with great. Yeah, so if it's fully updated, I'm gonna pull this just because this description is full. Recently updated the entire house, updated kitchen, appliances, professionally painted inside out, updated bathroom, new lights. So sometimes you don't, if there's no pictures, look at the description, what the agent wrote on there. If they're mentioning that everything got fully updated, then that's going to be a comp. The only thing with this one, it is bigger than our subject property. But uh, again, maybe we can get away with it just because it is close to like the asking price. What's the price per square foot on this property? This was 264. Wow. Okay. So let me use that 264. So our gentleman selling it for 340 at 319 per square foot. That's kind of pushing it a little bit more out there. And again, it's perfectly fine. Um, then we have our other one, and then there's this 320. What's this 321? Let me read the description because there's no pictures. 607. No, nothing about being updated. So no, nothing about being updated. So I can't really use this one as a comp. So what I like to do if I'm not able to get like a third comp and then just so I can play with the numbers is I like to average both of these numbers out. So I have 264 plus 281. divided by both of them. So it's gonna be like 272. So again, I'm trying to average it out on it. And based on our property, the seller should be again, I'm sure that he put a good amount of investment into it just because of how it looks. But the thing about it is that's what the market is telling us. So in all reality, that's gonna be my ARV of 290. And it's recently updated. So honestly, I can give him the benefit of the doubt that it could be as high as 320. Nothing more than that in all reality. But again, there's not a lot of other properties in there that have been recently updated. So the risk is really high. And that's perfectly fine. Because I'm going based on this one right over here on how much this sold and it is fully updated. So 367 on it. But it's just like the timing of it is different as well too. But again, I don't have 3, 5 comps to pull whatsoever, so I have to play it safe for my numbers. And again, it is in great condition. We just saw the pictures. We saw the pictures earlier. So in all reality, the numbers are going to be very low on this one. And I'm sure he won't take anything less than $300,000 on it whatsoever. So again, it's literally all about playing like the patience game with for sale by owners. Because one, the reason that they do for sale by owners is they're already on a tight budget. That's why they can't pay the agent whatsoever. So if you put like $50,000 on it and he's been owning it for whoever knows how long, then he's just trying to get a certain dollar. So honestly, for this type of deal, this will be more of a creative finance deal that I would consider into it, where you get on the contract on a creative way, where you make the seller the bank and get monthly payments get made, and the actual end buyer, what's the actual end buyer is going to end up doing is they're going to be using the property and renting it out either to students, make it like a student housing, where they can charge per room or per bed inside of the home. That's something big that gets done as well too whenever those properties are close to universities, colleges. That's something big that it's happening as well too. So usually with that, the monthly payments are going to be made to the seller. And then the property is going to be getting rented out and the property has to cash flow enough. But again, it's all about getting creative on how much the down payment is going to be, if there's going to be interest rate or no interest rate on the property based on that payment, how low we can get the monthly payment. But the major thing is how much does the seller want on the down payment? Which again, usually with this, you are able to wholesale, but you have to get creative and make sure that everything it's in terms that the seller wants, but at the same time it has to be on your terms, because what you're going to do with seller finance is it's going to take about maybe 7 maybe 10 years for that for the entire price of the home to be sold eventually, or for you to repay the entire amount, because again, you want to rent it out where it cash flows, and that cash flow it's either get put aside, so that way, whenever the balloon or the period is coming to an end, usually when it comes to the end, that's when you have to pay everything, the whole lump sum, whatever is left on the payments to the seller. But again, what's the property going to be worth in the next 7 to 10 years? Even just in the next 4 years, how much is it going to be worth? So that's going to be like a type of strategy for this, where it's not going to be more of a wholesale. It's just going to be more of a creative deal. And it's definitely going to be something that you might have to like look into this one. So great property. It's just the strategy on wholesale wise is going to be more challenging, just because I know for sure the seller is not going to want anything lower than $300,000, just because of how much financial investment it was already put into play for this specific property, which again, it's an amazing property. I'm just trying to go back to like the pictures of it. I don't know where it went. Here we go. Because what did he do? Lighting, floors, kitchen appliances, paint, floors, walls, if anything, and also check on the how long the seller has owned it for. Um,
think only since 2019, I believe.
2019. So there might be so you might have two creative strategies over here, depending on how much debt there's left on the mortgage, or if it's free and clear, then hey, he got money on it, so he's probably using the money for something else. Or two, if there's a huge amount of a mortgage left on the payment, then you can do a creative finance to do in subject to. And again, same thing is this type of strategy is going to be mainly for a buy and hold investor where the property is in pristine condition, and that has to be what the end buyer is going to want. And again, their main strategy is going to be renting out the property from there. So again, a couple of questions that I'll suggest is find out the mortgage, if there's anything left. Find out if the seller is open to doing a creative deal, depending on how much money he wants down. And again, finding other key motivations of like, hey, besides like the money, what else what's another motivation factor into it? Are you investing into something else, relocating, financial necessity, emergency necessity, or you're upgrading, or what's going on over here whatsoever. So find out the motivation besides the money, because there's a financial attachment into this property already. But great property. Thank you. I really appreciate you bringing this to us. But that's an example of how you will analyze it. But this is an example of a creative finance opportunity, which I'm glad we got it today.
Thank you. That was really helpful.
Of course, of course. Again, if you guys have any other properties, by all means, put it like in the chat so that way we can take a look at it. I'm gonna go through a fix and flip deal so that way we can go through like the numbers for this. Let me select a random city over here. Let me start clearing out this thing. And then this is the thing about real estate. You are gonna have a bunch of tabs open. Because again, if you're not a real estate agent, then you won't have access to the MLS system. Having access to that really helps like significantly, but a lot of investors and buyers don't have access to that. So it's literally about doing a thorough due diligence of what's going on in the neighborhood and what's going on with the property and what's going on with the seller. So just keep that in mind as well too. Let's see what city we got. I did Philadelphia. It's one of the cities that I did in the past. It was just crazy expensive, and we were not getting anything. Fayetteville, Arkansas. I've done like 5 of these for some reason. It always lands on it. Let me look at what else we have. Oh, Concord, New Hampshire. I haven't done this, so let's check it out over here in Concord, New Hampshire. Go back to the ARV calculator. Oh, yeah, let's put it over here. And have this cool in Zillow. Let's put in Concord, New Hampshire. So that way I'm able to find some deals. See what we're able to find over here. And let me reset all my filters. Cool. Let's remove this outline. All right, so for a fix and flip deal, the way this will be for a fix and flip, I do have like specific parameters. These are properties that are listed with an agent. Same thing, reaching out to agents and reaching out to sellers. You're asking questions about like what's going on with the property and what's the motivation. It's the same thing. It's just now you have like a middleman. That middleman is the agent who their main goal is to move their inventory and to get like their commissions. The way you work with agents is as simply as letting them know, I don't have another agent representing me. I'm an investor from out of state, or if you're locally, I'm in the area as well too. But my partners and I, we actually buy properties. We're looking for properties on this area. But again, we don't have anybody representing us. Are you by chance able to bring our offer in? So that way you get both sides of the pie. And what both sides of the pie is both sides of the commission, where if the commission is 3%, it's 3% for the buyer's agent, 3% for the seller's agent. The seller's agent gets both sides. So that's a huge incentive to them because it brings them more money. And then again, it's all about making sure that we're able to work like the deal as best as possible. but that's the only major thing of the major difference between working with sellers and working with buyers and with agents and sellers. It's just that agents have commission in between them. So just FYI. Right now for fix and flips, I'm gonna be looking for homes, and I am gonna be looking for homes that have been already sitting like on the market as well too. I do like to look for recently uploaded properties like the example that we got as well too, the where it recently got fully uploaded like 6 days ago, because you never know, there might be a deal happening. It's just like the motivation. It's all about finding what the motivation is. But for Concord, New Hampshire. Let's see if we can find a good property. And off the bat, I can already see that there's not a lot of homes inland, and these are going to be more farm style. So this is where I do have to apply that lot size into play instead of the besides just the square footage, just because some these properties are going to be very big, and I do see that a lot of them are new builds. And the way I'm able to tell they're new builds is just the besides it's saying new construction, it's gonna be like they have like this specific kind of like fake looking view into it. This was built in 2023, so I already knew it too. So I'm looking for something that needs some fix and flipping. Kind of like this one. This is 575 woods, great condition, great wood. Again, some of them are getting updated, and this is more closer towards like the metro area of Concord, New Hampshire. Um, and so maybe I can do some a little touches. Maybe there could be not a lot of things to do. So this could be more like on the light repairs. I'm just going through like the pictures, but let's go through here really quick. Okay, good flooring. Just like the paint. That's about it that I can see. Maybe update like the appliances, update like the sink a little bit as well too. Bathroom, yeah, just do like again, it's just gonna be little touches. So it's gonna be like very it's gonna be more on the light repairs side. And again, this is an example that you're gonna come across from time to time as well too. So um so great spacing overall. So let's see, what do we have? It is a giant home, 22268, asking 575. So let's do this. Could and fix and flips can happen on the light side as well too. It's all about just making sure that you're getting like a number. The home square footage is 2268. It does, I believe it does have a basement. Let me just double confirm on this. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be a full finish basement. Unfinished actually. Oh, walkout yeah, it is finished. So it is gonna have a basement. The only thing they don't tell me how big that basement is. Usually for basement properties, I always go half of it, 1134. It's just gonna be half, maybe a little bit less than half of it, but this is a big home, so it is gonna be really close to like that half parameter. Um, and then for the repairs are gonna be very light. Again, I'm listing based on the repairs going back to it. It's between $10 to $20 per square foot. But as mentioned, it's just updating the paint, updating like some of the bathroom stuff, updating the appliances, and then maybe in just the basement as well too, get updated like on the paint. And so it's gonna be very light work. So we're gonna go with like $15 a square foot. Maybe we won't really need $34,000 of it. And for the basement, because we do have a basement, so if the price per square foot on the living space is 15, for the basement is always going to be half of that number. So I'm put like $7. So in all reality, I don't think this needs like $40,000. So I can, it's just again from my experience, I know for sure it could be a little less than $30,000. And also double check like on the water heater and like other things as well too for this property. So far very light repairs, 28,000. I'm trying to flip this, so again I'm trying to get at least 15,000 on the profit. So I need to basically resell the property for $760,000. So now let me look, are there comps in the area where they're selling for $760,000, or are they going to be based on my offer, my possible offer of $400,000, where the comps are going to be selling around 540 or maybe even lower than that. So these numbers right over here are basically my ARV range. Where am I going to be finding some of these numbers based on what the agent and the asking price is, or based on where my possible offer is going based on my strategy, which is going to be a fix and flip for this one. So then for here, we have this subject property over here. Again, this is farm style home. We do have acres of land on it. How many acres we have? Actually, no, we don't have no, yeah, we do have acres of land. That's a big. Where's the lot size? Oh, we have 18 acres. There we go. I was like, what are we talking about? So this again, where you have to compare acres to acres, and hopefully we're able to find something. So we do have, there's no major roads, as you guys can see over here. This is going to be just like neighborhood farm style roads, but we do have this major road right over here, which is Jewett Road, and then this one right over here, Route 13. So this is again, we are on a countryside area. So I'm just trying. Come on, let me draw this. Let me draw this out. What are you doing? So this is gonna be again kind of my entire neighborhood, because again I'm comparing acres to acres on this property. So let's see for recently sold, last 6 months, if anything. Okay, we do have some, and off the bat, we already have 500, 530, 405, 530 on the properties. This is selling for 575, but are they the same size? And based on my calculator, where's the offer? Where's the offer? We're close to my purchase price that I need to resell. So my purchase price, my possible purchase price is $402,000. And so that's one thing, based on the property. There's not a lot, but there's some of them as well too. Not only that, but also make sure that I'm sticking within the same acres, that I'm comparing apples to apples. And then the other thing I was going to mention too is where's it at? Where's it at? The how recently these properties did sell as well too. So let me check it out. First one, we have this 530. I just want to make sure that it's 18 acres. This one is only 2.3 acres. So again, that's not a comp I'm able to pull just because my property has been here. And the other thing too, I am noticing this property has been sitting for 150 days. 150 days. So that's a total equivalent of 5 months. And in the last 5 months, has there been any activity whatsoever? And yes, this property has been listed since September of last year. It was under contract, and for some reason, whoever got under contract didn't pull the trigger. So they either found out something about the property, or when they were looking for comps, there were just no comps whatsoever. Or another thing is the seller was really stern. So again, the buyer found out something about the area that they didn't like, or maybe something about the property that they didn't like. They try to negotiate with the seller on bringing down the price lower, but the seller wasn't really budging. So hey, it looks like we have to cancel the contract because it's just this property is not going to work well for us. So that's a real life case scenario that's going to happen. And I love properties that have been under contract, because there should be a motivation right now. At this point, it's been 2 months since it was relisted, and it happened really quick. As you guys can see, it got under contract, and then 2 months. I mean, 2 months. 2 weeks. And that's how long you want to set up your inspection period of up to 2 weeks, so that we can do further due diligence. And the contract got canceled within that inspection period of 2 weeks. So this is why it's essential to have an inspection period, so that we can find out more details about the property, or also more details about the about the area and seeing what potential buyers might be interested as well too, and what kind of feedback you're getting from buyers. And that's literally my guess over here. I can't really prove it, but it's a case just because the dates really confirm it for me that it's within 2 weeks of a period. Um, so far our first subject property doesn't work. We have this other one that sold for 530. Is this one has 16 acres, so now we're getting somewhere. That's already a $40,000 price drop from what the seller has it already. So that could be a potential opportunity. Yes, it's not updated, but again, with these homes that are, when you're looking at lot size, you have it, they're not, it's either gonna have the lot or it's either gonna have the home fully updated as well too. Um, so this is the thing when looking at properties that are very farm style with lots of acres. This one has a farm and also a home as well too. So this is a 2-for-1. Our subject property doesn't have a farm whatsoever. I mean, I think it did. One of the pictures showed it. Oh no, it was just a garage. Oh, there's an aerial view. Oh no, there's no there's no farm attached to it. And then this one, same thing, 19 acres. So this is another property, and this did sell in October, but for $500,000. So again, my offer of that 402, it's way too low, but at the same time, it's realistic because again, that's what the other properties did sell for. And maybe I might not be able to get my 15% profit. I might have to like take a loss on this one and get even just 10%. But again, that this is where how much properties are selling for between 530 and $500,000. So it has to be automatically like a 75 to $100,000 price drop from what it's currently being listed. So that this 75 price point, it's not realistic whatsoever, especially with like little updates that it needs as well too. And just looking at the neighborhood for those other properties that have again similar acreage to it. So overpriced. Uh, the comps are not really new, but they do match the lot size in terms of acres. And it's been sitting for too long. It's been under contract, and then the buyer backed out from that contract. There should have been a price adjustment or a price reduction at this point, but there's nothing happening. So this is going to be a case of a property that is going to it's either going to be a price drop or the seller is just going to back out and is going to get completely delisted from the MLS, and the agent is going to end up losing the deal on this one just because there's no activity happening. Maybe they might be getting some offers, but it's not what the seller wants. But that's the realistic situation happening at the moment where there's no comps happening whatsoever. And again, not every property is going to be the same. Not every property you're going to find comps. Not every property is going to be fully updated that you're going to be looking into. Not every property is going to be making they're going to be making the adjustments on their prices because they're very tight on their budget, and that's the reality of real estate. But again, that's why you have to continue making offers on multiple properties, because if you make one offer, it's exciting, but at the same time it's like, all right, cool, I put that offer in, let me see what the feedback is, but I gotta move on forward to the next opportunity because I can't be waiting forever to see what the reaction will be based on my offer. So if I were to bring a $450,000 offer, I know it's going to be like, oh, that's way too low. We can't do that. Well, hey, I can play the patience game as well too, and I'm always going to win on the patience game. So I can wait another 150 days, and I will see what the property is worth in 150 days. Or if you're really serious, or if the seller, especially with this one, they're fully moved out, or maybe they're out of town owners or out of state homeowners that this is kind of like their vacation home. And then, hey, if they want the money, then let them sell it. If they're not really in the rush of selling it, which they probably are not, then the property is gonna most likely get delisted. All right. I did go over. I haven't done like a Rental property, honestly, I don't think I will have enough time just because I have another event for today, but I'm gonna leave it open for some Q&A if you guys have like any questions so far. And again, if you guys do want the access to the calculators, by all means get the calculators. There's that coupon happening right now, that's special for the Super Bowl, which is happening this weekend. So be safe at all times. But again, I'm gonna leave it open right now for some Q&A if you guys have any questions by any chance. You guys can drop like the questions on the chat, or you're able to unmute yourselves. Yeah, you're able to unmute yourselves. If there's no questions, it's perfectly fine. But yeah, you guys let me know. Going once, twice, 3 times. Of course, my pleasure, Samuel. Yeah, so if there's no questions, I really appreciate you guys coming in for today's event. Again, this is a weekly thing that I do host every Monday, Wednesday at 6 Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I do have one-on-one coaching if you guys are interested on any type of coaching questions, routines, how to get started, this and that. So it's available on my website as well too. The link it is on the chat as well too. But if there's no questions or anything else, I really appreciate you guys coming in. The recordings, they could also get uploaded onto the educational side on the website. Bless you. So if you guys want to preview any previous recordings, they are available as well in there. But if no questions, I really appreciate you guys coming in, and you have a blessed Friday, a blessed weekend. Be safe as well too, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the future. All right. Have a blessed night. Take care.